Last week, we put out a poll for our YouTube community to see exactly what they wanted to see on our Wheels Through Time YouTube page. More bikes, more history, or more shop time. Overwhelming response, more motorcycles. So today we're going to be talking about the Harley-Davidson Knucklehead, undoubtedly one of the favorites among antique motorcycle collectors, antique bike riders, and of course all of us here at the Wheels Through Time Museum. So thought no better Knucklehead for us to highlight today than our annual raffle bike. You can win this motorcycle coming up in less than a month and a half. November 14th, we're going to be giving this bike away to one lucky new owner. So 1939 Harley-Davidson Model EL, it's 61 cubic inch, 4-speed transmission. This thing is ready for the road, restored to the nines, and going home to somebody's garage here real shortly. So the Harley-Davidson Knucklehead, really one of the machines that revolutionized the motorcycle industry. We always say that doesn't matter if you're riding a Japanese bike, an American bike, a British bike, the Harley-Davidson Knucklehead in one way or another helped shape exactly what you're riding today. So Harley-Davidson's first overhead valve, fully pressurized circulating oil system, revolutionary machine that changed the motorcycle world entirely. So 1930s, incredibly difficult years for the Harley-Davidson, incredibly difficult years for motorcycle manufacturers as a whole. Great Depression, 1929, absolutely took a big hit on motorcycle sales. So manufacturers at this time, and at this time there's 3 left, Harley, Indy, and Excelsior. By 1931, Excelsior was closed. Only Harley and Indian are left. Big sales slump. So these guys at the time are doing anything they can to sell motorcycles. Harley in 1930 debuted the Model VL. The Model VL, 74 cubic inch flathead engine, 4 cams, 3-speed transmission, kind of still that antiquated primitive configuration. So they had the single down tube chassis, sliding gear transmission. These are the transmissions where you're grinding gears up and down. 4 cams. One of the most notable things about the Harley-Davidson VL engine is that it's still a total loss oil system. So you guys may have heard us say total loss a lot throughout our earlier programming on YouTube. So total loss oil system, think of it like this. You've got an oil tank up top, you've got an oil pump down underneath the cover here. Maybe pump's kind of a poor choice of words. Feed system is probably a better use of the word, is didn't circulate. So when you say pump, it implies pressure. The VL really just metered oil into the lower end and didn't circulate it back to the tank. So literally the oil went down to the engine. The pump itself underneath the cover here pumped only what the engine was designed to consume. So inherent problems right off the bat there. So over-oiling was a big problem with the Harley-Davidson VLs. You get too much oil in the crankcase, it has as much of a negative performance on, or a negative effect on performance as too little oil in the crankcase. The way I always put it, it's kind of like running in a swimming pool. On top of that, as your engine changes over its life and it begins to burn more oil, that ability to regulate the proper amount of oil into the lower end was very difficult. Now, VLs are incredibly fun to ride, and the guys that love them. But really, Harley-Davidson's VL model was not destined for failure, but destined for limited production, okay? So by 1933 or 1934, Indian's flathead was updated with a circulating oil system. So if you can imagine, Harley-Davidson at this time, 74 cubic inch flathead, mild performance, getting beat to the punch by Indian to develop a dry sump circulating oil system was a big hit on Harley. So dry sump system, increased engine life, decreased maintenance, really made the use of your motorcycle significantly easier. So about 1934, 1935, Harley-Davidson began experimenting, developing an overhead valve circulating oil system type of engine that today we call the Knucklehead. So initially, the Model EL was referred to as the 61 OHV, 61 cubic inches, overhead valve, and as I said before, it's got that full circulating dry sump oil system. So we've got a full Knucklehead motor right here behind us, kind of been rebuilt in patina configuration, and then I'm also going to tell you a little bit about how that oiling system works. So the Harley Knucklehead, every single part on this engine was a brand new component, never used on any other Harley-Davidson engine before. So the VL engines and the Harley-Davidson 45 models, or model DLs and RLs at the time, 4 cams. The Knucklehead was actually the first, well, I shouldn't say the first, but it was a deviation. They went back to the single cam operation. So single cam lower end, Harley-Davidson used single cam technology right all the way up through 1999 with the Harley-Davidson Evolution. So Knuckleheads, Panheads, Shovelheads, and even Evolutions have a very similar lower end right here. Now, with Harley-Davidson's single cam lower end, they were able to tie in the circulating oil pump right here in the back. You've got that dry sump oil pump. This is a feed and a return pump, all built in one. And one of the neat things about the Harley-Davidson Knucklehead, and of course, overhead valve. So this is a big, big deviation from the model VL. Indian at the time, Indian really never had an overhead model for the road. When Harley-Davidson created the overhead model, or the overhead valve model, big performance increases, compression increase, airflow increase. You could just make more horsepower with these machines. So domed pistons, hemispherical combustion chamber. The Knucklehead rocker boxes are really where the Knucklehead gets its name. I know it's a little bit of a stretch, but they kind of look like the knuckles right here on your hand. So intake, intake, and exhaust, and exhaust. So as I said, every single part of the Knucklehead engine was brand new and never used on any previous engine. So Harley debuted the Knucklehead in 1936. They made about 1,600 the first year, incredibly rare machines. Now back to the oil system. One of the neat things about the Harley-Davidson oil system on the Knuckleheads is actually pressurized oil to the top end. Now, Harley-Davidson's racing machines in the teens and 20s and even early 30s, they did have overhead valve factory racing machines, extremely limited production. One of the reasons they never made an overhead valve for the road up until this point was being able to lubricate the top end effectively. So without proper lubrication up top, inherently short lifespan of these overhead valve engines. Now the thing about a racing motor, you can take that thing out to the races, hammer it all weekend, it comes back to the shop or the dealership or the factory, gets rebuilt right there over the weekend, or any of the shortfalls get addressed. You get the thing back out for the next weekend, brand new and ready to go. So the thing about a road model, it's got to be ready for thousands and thousands and thousands of miles. So what this oil pump did was it actually allowed the top end to be pressurized, lubricated through a top end oil line right here. So the oil pump goes through passages through the cam cover. Overhead oil line works its way into the rocker boxes. There are the rocker arms themselves are drilled with oil passages, and it actually gets oil all the way back here to these cups. I'll turn this motor around a little bit for you, Steve. So oil works its way all the way back into the oil cups back here, lubricates your valve springs, your valves, your guides, and then it collects down in the bottom, and you see these tubes here that actually return the oil back to the rocker box. Now the rocker box acts as a vacuum chamber through the Harley-Davidson mechanical breather system that allows the oil to get pulled back to the rocker boxes. Gravity feeds back down the push rod tubes through these little drains here, back into the sip cavity, and that allows the Harley-Davidson oil pump to pump oil back to the oil tank. So what you're getting is you're getting considerably more life out of your 3 or 4 quarts of oil. So big improvement. M5 Harley-Davidson carburetor, built by the Linkert Company, just really special stuff. And at the time, this was an absolute game changer, revolutionized the industry. You can imagine looking at our old Harley-Davidson flathead, kind of a plain Jane looking motor. You see that Knucklehead, if you can imagine, back in 1936, seeing this thing roll off the assembly line. Looks like an entirely futuristic machine, and really something that I'm sure that the founders really had no idea how it would take hold, and even here we are 90 years later, 85 years later, and it's really become one of the most iconic motorcycles in history, period. So we've got a little bit more on the overhead valve oiling system here. Now, Harley-Davidson Knucklehead, first year for the under-the-seat oil tank. So what that allowed is a lot more room right here in the gas tanks. So you don't have, on your old VLs, you had 3 caps. You had gas on this side, and then another oil cap right here that housed all your oil. So with the Harley-Davidson Knucklehead, that moved it all down here onto under the seat, the famous Harley-Davidson horseshoe oil tank. Geez, I believe they used this oil tank right up through 1964. So almost 30 years of the very same design, virtually the same design on the oil pump. So 3.5-gallon gas tanks. And then back to the oiling system. Here there's it's a factory poster, and it talks about the scavenger pump, series of gears and check balls, vent line that actually feed through the bottom of the tank. And then the Harley-Davidson breather gear itself utilizes the crankcase pressure from the pistons to suck and draw oil into the engine, pump it to the top, move it back down to the bottom of the engine, and then back to the oil tank. So big changes, really something that was at the time genius. Now, 1934-35, Harley-Davidson really put the future of their company into this Knucklehead. Had the Knucklehead not floated, Harley-Davidson would not be around today. So incredibly big risk by the 4 founders, something that they certainly would not regret. So this machine, our 1939 Harley-Davidson Model EL, this is our Raffle bike for 2020. Believe it or not, November 14th, this motorcycle is going to be going home to a new owner. We restored this machine right here in the restoration shop. It is absolutely beautiful, finished off in black and ivory. Mark Peters with the one and only gold and silver leaf job on the hand-lettered Harley-Davidson logo. 36-9, this logo only. So short-lived. It's one of the most iconic Harley-Davidson logos. Our friend Mark Peters does an incredible jam-up job, hand pinstriping. Of course, all our Raffle bikes here at the museum are hand-painted by John Dills, John Dills Paintworks. He does a fantastic job. Now down to the power plant, guys. This motor was rebuilt 5 or 6 years ago by my dad right here in the Wheels Through Time restoration shop. The Knuckleheads, always one of his favorite motorcycles to rebuild, one of his favorite motors to rebuild. The pre-war example is incredibly rare. I think they made about 2,800 Model ELs in 1939, so rare stuff today. This one's set up original 6-volt charging system, 6-volt battery right here in the oil tank. It's got the 6-volt generator and mechanical relay just as original. Points right underneath the timer cap. Harley-Davidson's ultra rare Linkert M5 carburetor. So, and then our 6-inch air cleaner right here. Original examples of this air cleaner are so incredibly hard to find today. Thousands of bucks if you can find one, and a beautiful piece of work right there on the Knucklehead motor. So 4-speed transmission, big advancement also. The Knucklehead was the first to incorporate a constant mesh transmission. As that old VL sliding gear style, you actually had a fork inside there that slid a gear back and forth between first and second gear, The thing about the Harley-Davidson 4-speed, all gears are constant mesh, all gears are meshed at once. Considerably longer life out of the internals of this transmission. They use this transmission basically the same through 1984. So when you got something that works, you stick with it. So Harley-Davidson 4-speed made it to the 61 cubic inch engine. This thing will run down the road like you wouldn't believe. Now I've got about 300 miles on this motorcycle. Whenever we restore a machine here at Wheels Through Time, when the bike's finished, the work is only about 80% done. So break-in miles, you retorque your head bolts, your base bolts, you tighten up anything that's shaken loose, you're checking your charging system, your grease and grease points, any moving part on this motorcycle needs to be maintained to some degree or another. So it's our most important it's most important to us for us to be able to hand off a motorcycle ready to run down the road and be used by its next owner. So when we build a Raffle bike, as I said, finishing the bike is only part of the battle. Dialing that thing in and getting it ready for miles of smiles is the last 20% of the work. So ultra cool 1939 rhino skin style seat. This was done by Heather's Leathers, and almost an exact replica to the ultra rare 1939 Harley-Davidson seat. So this machine is ready to go. What we're going to do is we're going to fire this thing up for you here momentarily. I know you might have seen us take you through the starting procedure before, but we're going to do it again. Fuel shut off right over here on the gas tanks. That's just a knob that operates a plunger shut-off down in the base of the tank. Pull it up, we put it on reserve. You've got a choke lever down here that opens and closes the choke on the other side of the engine. So we'll start it while it's on the rear stand here. I flip the choke down. You ought to have probably 3 prime kicks. Now this bike, we haven't run this bike in about a month, so it'll be interesting to see a cold start from a bike that's been sitting a while. So choke's on. We ought to have 3 kicks to draw some fuel in. I give it 4, why not? Pull the choke off, key on, and hopefully we're firing right up. So here we go. Doesn't get much cooler than a Harley-Davidson Knucklehead. They produced these from 1936 to 47. Rare machines, the pre-war ones, few and far between today. Just finding a Knucklehead, period, is a rare thing today. Proud to be giving one of these motorcycles away to a new owner coming up November 14th. Make sure you check out wheelsthroughtime.com. Get your tickets today. Help support the museum that runs. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.